Does my odds deceive me? Did we actually have a conclusion of an episode that's going to actually carry over to the next episode? Because with the ending of this episode, Danny looks like he's about to be captured by this army, and it says to be continued. So, we're actually going to have this episode carry over to the next episode. Holy shit, I am actually fucking surprised. I am really surprised that that is happening. So, once again, my theory seems to be true, but I don't know if it's actually going to play any major role in the conclusion of this series. Supposedly, next episode is the final episode of Space Danny, and most likely there is not going to be a Season 3 of Space Danny, which is very upsetting, because I've actually really enjoyed this series more than I thought I would since I started from the very beginning. And so, it's upsetting. It's really upsetting to see that Space Danny will finally come to a conclusion next week. Now, this episode, for the most part, was definitely a different take on Space Danny. It was a very unique concept and idea they used in this episode of Space Danny, and they factored in Pionium once again, space-time dimensional travel, like I've been discussing from multiple different episode reviews. But anyways, pretty much in this episode, it takes place in a courthouse, and Danny is accused of murdering someone, this rare alien that he was trying to capture for 1 million wulongs, I think that's what they call it. And so, Danny's accused of this, and he's on trial. And, it goes back and forth. You see, these different, lawyers battling back and forth, trying to pin evidence on either Danny or the wife and different stuff like that. And then it slowly builds up to finding out that these two kids in the background that were actually playing baseball with each other are the true culprits. And the reason how this alien was kind of killed or technically knocked out at the end of the episode is because if you have a lot of vicious malice or evil intent, you will pretty much have anything warp through time and space to a random location in the universe, and that's exactly what happened to this alien that Danny was trying to catch. But the big thing that pops up in this episode that is really unique is that Danny once again has another mystery surrounding him. He has a lot of Pionium inside of him. When this has been hinted at multiple times, a lot of times through the course of this entire series, it's a no-brainer now that Space Danny has, Pionium inside of him. But pretty much when that ball went through the universe, it was finding its way to a target it could kill, it actually went off course to Space Danny. Since he had such a large amount of Pionium in him, it made the ball go off course and go towards him, and which in turn caused Danny to be, the person on trial. So I find it very interesting how they factored in, once again, Pionium into the series. Hopefully, next episode, it really explains the mystery behind this. Why Danny has Pionium in him. What is the meaning behind all this time travel, dimensions in space, and different stuff like that. Because there's just way too much stuff like this for it to not be a coincidence. It definitely is. So, like I said, I really, really hope next episode will explain all the different events of all the episodes, because it's a possibility that all these episodes are linked. All the episodes we have seen from Space Danny, like I said, it's a possibility they're linked, they're connected, and they have some form of meaning together, because we have seen Danny die a couple times through this series, and from all we've learned from the series from Pionium and different dimensions, it's possibility that Danny just goes to a different dimension. We switch dimensions each individual episode, and so hopefully they will explain this next episode. Now, for the most part, this episode had a different level of animation. For instance, the art style and animation reminded me of No Game, No Life. If anyone remembers No Game, No Life, you'll probably know why I'm bringing it up. For instance, the art lines on the characters, if you look at Space Danny at the beginning of this episode, the lines on his face structure are red. And all the, outlining art lines and stuff of the characters were red in No Game, No Life. So, the art style reminded me a lot of that. And I was like, holy shit, this is like No Game, No Life all over again, because the art style was just so colorful and the way it looked. And I love the animation in this episode of Space Danny. It looked really badass, and you definitely gotta love the change of art style and animation in that baseball scene where you saw the kids, hitting the ball. That right there looks so fucking badass. I mean, that looks so freaking amazing and cool looking, and I was like, damn, that looks awesome. So, the episode was enjoyable. I laughed, it was funny, and it was just a different take on Space Danny, especially inside of the court. Hopefully, like I said, my questions will be answered next week, since it is the final episode. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to reevaluate my entire thoughts of Space Danny. I know it's an episodic series, but I mean, like I said, there's just so much potential for all of it to be linked, so we'll have to see next week. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.